Welcome to the Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because, wow, we are looking at something truly transformative. We're going to explore how to take a stunning AI-generated website design and turn it into a fully functional, living, breathing e-commerce business. It's one thing to generate a nice-looking layout, right? But it's an entirely different ballgame to make it actually work. And today, we are going to bridge that gap entirely. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. It is incredibly easy right now to prompt an AI and get a beautiful mock-up of a store. But here is the massive gap between a pretty AI design and a functional business backend. Your AI storefront might have a shiny shopping cart and a fancy checkout button, but how does it actually remember the order? And more importantly, how does it actually collect the money? That is exactly the problem we're solving in this explainer. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the AI storefront illusion. Second, connecting the order database. Third, linking external payment buttons. And finally, going live and testing. Section 1, the AI storefront illusion. Let's see how fast we can build the shell of a store. The initial creation process for our example store, we'll call it a sneaker brand named Walk-In, is basically a sprint. First, you just ask ChatGPT to write a highly detailed prompt for an e-commerce store, complete with specific pages and features. Next, you drop that exact prompt into Google AI Studio. We're selecting the React framework here because, well, it's modern and super beginner-friendly. In literal seconds, the AI generates the layout, the colors, the buttons, and writes all the code behind it. Finally, you just tell the AI to swap out its placeholder images with your actual uploaded product photos. And just like that, you have a store. But here's what you really need to take away from this. The result is just a beautiful shell. It has absolutely no memory and no cash register. Sure, you get a flawless user interface. You have a cart that updates when you add items. You even have a checkout page with forms for a name, email, and shipping address. But by default, if a customer hits submit, that data goes absolutely nowhere. It lacks a true backend to process that data or handle any money. Let's move to and see how this builds. Section 2, connecting the order database. To capture that customer data, we're going to use a completely free tool. Google Apps Script is, in the exact words of our source, a cloud-based JavaScript platform that allows users to extend and automate Google Sheets functionalities. Think of this as your invisible engine. It's the bridge that's going to take the information typed into our beautiful AI website and safely deposit it into a private database that we control. It's really important to contrast these two elements. On the front end, you have that shiny AI Studio checkout form. It looks exactly like a high-end Shopify or WooCommerce site, right? But on the back end, you have your Google Sheet, powered by a simple AppScript webhook. The front end is all about the user experience, while the back end is about your actual business operations, and we need them to talk to each other. And this brilliantly illustrates what we're going for. Notice the specific columns we've set up in this Google Sheet. When a customer finishes their order on the checkout page, we want their first name, last name, email, address, the product they bought, and the total amount to map perfectly right here into these exact columns. To make this happen, the workflow is actually incredibly simple. You open Google Sheets, go to Extensions, and paste a tiny ready-made script right into AppScript. You deploy it as a web app, which gives you a live URL. Then, and honestly, this is the magic of AI, you go back to Google AI Studio and you simply instruct the AI, connect the checkout form so that when a user submits it, all the fields are sent as JSON to this URL. The AI updates the backend code automatically for you, you test an order, and boom, a new row magically appears in your spreadsheet. You have officially given your store a memory. Section 3. Linking external payment buttons. Now, we've got to address the absolute most critical part of any business, collecting the cash. I absolutely love this quote from the source material. Instead of a complicated payment gateway, the user clicks one button, then opens your payment link in a new tab. If you have ever dealt with traditional merchant accounts, you know they can be an absolute nightmare of approvals, fees, and API keys that make you just want to pull your hair out. But for a startup or a home entrepreneur trying to launch today, we're going to use a really clever zero-cost workaround to bypass all of that. So the crucial point is how we instruct the AI to hijack its own design. You start by creating a personal payment link using a free service, something like PayPal.me, Stripe, or Payoneer. Then you locate the placeholder payment button in your AI Studio preview. You literally just tell the AI,
On the checkout page, when the user clicks the pay button, open this specific payment link in a new tab. Keep the order summary intact on the main page. And the AI writes the code to redirect the customer seamlessly to your external payment URL.
Now, why does this matter so much? Because bypassing complex merchant accounts ensures 100% of the control stays with you. You aren't paying ridiculous monthly gateway fees. You don't need to hire a developer to troubleshoot failed transactions. It is a completely free, immediate, and highly effective way to start accepting transactions the exact same day you generate your website. A real game changer.
Section 4. Going live and testing. It's time to launch this store to the public.
The deployment process is wonderfully straightforward. Inside Google AI Studio, there's literally a button to save your project directly to GitHub. Once your code is safely stored there, you open Netlify, import that GitHub repository, and click Deploy. Within seconds, your site is live with a fully shareable URL. Oh, and please, whatever you do, do not skip step 3, testing on mobile. As our source points out, the vast majority of e-commerce traffic today comes from phones. So you have to ensure your AI-generated layout is fully responsive and really easy to tap. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that massive zero. Zero is the amount of money spent on complicated web hosting or merchant fees. And zero is the exact number of lines of code you had to manually write to build this entire, fully functional e-commerce system. By simply leveraging Google AI Studio and connecting it with everyday external tools like Google Sheets, via AppScript, and PayPal links, you've bypassed thousands of dollars in traditional development costs.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. Now that the backend is handled, what will you build? You now know exactly how to integrate these external tools, routing form submissions straight into organized Google Sheets, and seamlessly linking checkout buttons to external transaction URLs. These are the fundamental building blocks of almost any online business. So take these integrations, apply them to your own ideas, and start building. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and honestly, I can't wait to see what you create.